everyone. Welcome to the French Flick, the guide for indoor hockey. I'm your host, Erin Tallman, also chief leader for Marseille's women's team here in France. Today, we're going to continue our discussion on player conduct. You'll find a link to the official rules PDF published by the French Federation of Field Hockey in the description of this episode. In the last episode, we spoke about the captain's responsibilities and covered the beginning of Section 9 of the Rules Handbook. Now we'll get into Rules 9.13 and 14 as well as 9.19. Next week, we'll return to Rules 9.15 to 9.18. Let's go. Rule 9.13 states that players may not prevent an opponent from attempting to play the ball. Players commit an obstruction foul if they do one of the following: back away from an opponent, physically interfere with an opponent's stick or body, prevent an opponent from legitimately intercepting the ball with their stick or any part of their body. Let's get into that and break it down a little bit. A stationary player receiving the ball is allowed to position himself or herself in any direction. A player in possession of the ball is allowed to move with it in any direction unless he or she hits an opponent's body or places himself or herself between the ball and an opponent who is within playing distance of the ball and is attempting to play it. Also, a player who runs in front of or blocks an opponent, thus preventing him or her from playing or attempting to play the ball legitimately, commits an obstruction foul. This can be an obstruction by a third party or by screening. This is also the case when an attacker crosses the trajectory or blocks defenders, including the goalkeeper, during the execution of the penalty corner. Referees must be particularly vigilant about time lost when the ball is stuck in a corner of the court or close to the sideline, especially at the end of a match, when a player protects the ball to prevent his or her opponent from playing it. Rapid intervention by the referees should make it clear to the teams that they will not benefit from this type of play or tactic. Rule 9.14 states that players may only attempt to tackle the ball if their position allows them to play it without bodily contact with the opponent. Dangerous plays such as attempting to tackle the ball while sliding or overly physical interventions by outfield players that can cause the opponent to fall with risk of injury must be subject to appropriate sanctions, including personal sanctions. Rule 9.19 states that players may not block or hold the ball against the boards. A player in possession of the ball may not be blocked in a corner of the court or against the boards by opponents with their sticks flat on the ground. Opponents must leave a sufficiently wide opening for the ball to be played. Referees should identify the situation and stop play, ordering a bully when the ball is either blocked by the player's sticks or is unintentionally stuck on the board. Such actions repeated by players, blocking the ball or jamming it against the boards, must be analyzed as intentional and sanctioned as such. Similarly, players whose aim is to block the ball between their stick and that of their opponent should be penalized rather than rewarded with a bully. Let's get on with the action. We're going to share the start of the Namibia versus Russia match from the Indoor Hockey World Cup in Women's Pool B from 2018. Russia is in blue, Namibia in red. From 7:05 to 7:35, we can see a Russian player sweeping her stick in an attempt to stop her opponent, which counts as a way to prevent the opposing player from advancing by using her stick in an aggressive manner. This error earns Namibia a penalty corner. Note that it was the defender, the left back, who had recovered the ball and moved toward the opponent's defensive zone. It was therefore the fullback who succeeded in winning a penalty corner. Note also the way in which the midfielder or the front left, it's hard to say without seeing the whole pitch, went into cover mode when the back left positions herself to recover the ball. From 7:35 to 8:12, we'll watch the penalty corner, and I want you to ask yourself this question. What problem do you detect on the defensive side?
Finding the corner. Just the start they were looking for. Gillian Hermanus.
From 9:59 to 10:10, look closely at the Namibia midfield. What does she do as soon as the first line of defense is overrun? What does the right back do in parallel? From 10:16 to 10:19, what is the first mistake on the Russian side? The answer? The defender has her stick on the ground, but the Russian attacker moves forward by pushing through the defender's stick, causing the defender's stick to move slightly in the air. From a distance, it looks like it's the defender's fault. If you look closely, you can see that the defender had put her stick on the ground and kept it there. From 11:25 to 11:55, there is a PC awarded. Why? Is it more likely that the foul came from the one making multiple stick attacks or the one blocking with her stick on the ground and causing a lifted ball? Do you think the ball went in the air because the defender held her stick incorrectly or because the attacker tried to send the ball hard towards the cage? Can you see the ball sliding against the defender's shin pad? From 11:58 to 12:27, let's watch the awarded penalty corner and answer the following questions. Did the defense change their game? What happened exactly? Please note that it is the exact same strategy from the attacking team. This means they once again shot from the top of the circle and sent the ball to the top left corner of the cage. It's the same goal as the first penalty corner, and the defense hasn't changed anything. From 13:37 to 13:38, we see a stick tackle in a very aggressive way. Please take note of this. We're going to finish by watching the end of the first half. Try to look at the mistakes made by the players, but also identify the mistakes made by the referees. For example, the referees blew the whistle to call lifted balls at the beginning of the half and let others slide toward the end. In addition to eyeing mistakes, take time to watch the configuration of the players and their attitude toward one another as well as toward the referees. You'll notice the players do not take time during the game to discuss what they did or did not do well. They do not argue with the referees or attempt to make explanations during the game in any way to one another. They do not scream or yell at one another or at their opponents. Enjoy watching the game and stay tuned for our next episode.
They over once more. Correlate with the target. Manages to get into the circle. Breathing down the neck was Mengo. Saravaya. Whistle blown. Timeout being called. And the horn being sounded at the right time. It's been with us today. It's been a little bit all over the place in terms of when timeouts have been called. But destructive from a penalty corner, Cormac. One of the goals that she scored, you might as well call it a penalty, Cormac. Then getting back underway. Popakova. Koroneva. Saravaya had to stretch to control that, and she did well. Actually, it's gone against her on that occasion. Always in movement, they have to stop the play, take it back to where it should be taken from. The Pool B game to take place will be Germany against Australia. Son of Fire looking to creep in and get it under control. Namibia are able to bring it clear. Germany were looking to maintain 100% winning start, but Australia will be hoping to finish second if they are to get a victory over Germany. Sleeping wide, and a penalty corner has been awarded. Australia, should they win, they can leapfrog Ukraine into second. It's taken a little too quickly for the umpires likely. She wasn't entirely ready herself. Now the penalty corner can be taken. Oh, they made a hash of that. Sarah is usually so good at penalty corner situations. Seems to miscue the control. She then shot at goal and was a little tickle wide. Here she is once more. She did well to control it. Fired into her. And she's going to get a green card. The defender's so close to her. Really allowed to really strike with such ferocity with the defender so close. It's dangerous play. To Conolima. Struck a foot, and look at this from Menga. Gliding forward, Gazer. Into the circle she goes, looking to find her captain. Penalty corner for Namibia. That's one of the loudest cheers for the match so far. Just striking the left shoe, I think. Conolima. It's very, very close. Full control from Menga, that is not like her. Some obstruction from all of her. Menga gets on with it. It's the elbows from Venter, and it's a little bit of a telling off from the umpire on this near side. It's a real feat for Namibia to get to this indoor World Cup, beating South Africa for the African Cup. Weren't expected to do so. Courtesy of a shootout against the favourites, who had represented the African continent in 2015 and in 2003 and 2007. terrific achievement for these players to have the experience on a world stage. They can go even further if they are to maintain this scoreline. Gets on with it swiftly for Namibia, who are dictating things at the moment. Kopakova. Under pressure from Louis. Chernobyl did well. Syukova. And now Champanova. It's an ambitious effort, really, from Ereshina. No rush to restart. And Namibia, nicely done. And taken forward now by Cormac. Boshoff. It's good play, Boshoff into the circle. Very quick, off her line was Victoria Alexandrina. Starts again from halfway. Good end to the first half for Namibia. That 2-goal advantage. Although, to be cut out here. With the last lap of the first half, perhaps? Yes! Well, somehow, Valeria Borisova squeezed this in. Taking everybody by surprise, really. Leading the way, Borisova. 10 goals to an aim at the Euros recently. And they are finishing very strongly, but will there be time ahead of the Hooter? No, but key for Russia to get themselves back into the match.
Thanks for joining me on the French Flick, the guide to indoor hockey. If you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover, let me know.